Hi, just a little video on, I'm going to call the old world order and the old normal of how society was managed by, I think, probably psychopaths of olden times. Look at this castle, and you're thinking, well, we're told, what are castles for, really? Like, sorry about the traffic and that. We're told really they're to protect the kings and queens from, and us, and back in the day, the peasants, from invaders. If I'm correct, like, I don't know, the French or whatever, you know, in case they came over in boats with weapons or whatever, the castle will defend, you know, help defend the people, the country, or whatever, and that the people need a king, and the king's ordained by God, and that's another part of the control matrix of the past. Religion, form of Christianity. Now we have atheism, which I think is worse, really, when you think of it. This was just this religion that we've had was really to trick us from our pagan roots. So there was truth there mixed with lies, but there was some truth in there about the spirit and that we go on. But atheism is the new control system. But going back to this, sorry about the traffic again, like, if you can't hear me. Going back to this, we're told that this was to protect us from foreign invaders, I believe, but I really think this was to protect the rulers from us. That's what it was. And you think back in the day, the population was so much lower that this would work. This was a technology really that they had to build a wall between us and them. Them, the ruling psychopaths, really, and us. I'm not saying they were all psychopaths, but when you look at it, look what they did. Like, I read a book, this is what opened my eyes to it, actually. I read a book called, maybe if I walk down here it'll be a little bit more away from the traffic. I read a book called The Idiot's Guide to the Crusades, actually. It's one of those books, they do loads of different topics. And it's pretty good. Now you've got some bells from the cathedral behind me. This book, it basically, it didn't have any theories, but it explained that at that time peasants weren't allowed to hunt, really. That was against the law. That was an offence. They weren't allowed to, therefore, yeah, because they weren't allowed to hunt, obviously they weren't on a high protein diet, very little. That would affect their brain development, that would affect their health and their strength physically. And then the farming equipment that they had was so poor quality. It was mainly, I think it was wooden. They weren't allowed any real metal farming equipment that could be really effective, and they never explained why in the book, but my theory was that they could make weapons out of that and take up arms against these people in here. Because it makes me think of Japan. I think that's what happened in Japan thousands of years ago. The peasants defended themselves against the samurai, and that was where you got a martial art from that. Was it in jiu-jitsu or ninjutsu or something? So I think that's why they weren't allowed farming, proper metal farming equipment to basically for the harvest and things like that, harvesting crops. And the low protein diet affected their strength and development, plus being a very low population, and that would have been us. And then these guys were in here. Yeah, I think that was the control system of the old world order. But we're always told differently, aren't we? Like, what were these buildings for? And I think that was the obvious. In every single probably country in Europe, it was to protect them from us, basically. That was the technology of the time. That's what I think, anyway. That was to protect them from us physically, and then maybe mentally had this to keep us spiritually weak and confused. So yeah, I don't know, just a few thoughts for the day. Alright, cheers guys, take care. I'll see you in the next video.